Good evening, everybody. This is Dr. Rao coming in you on the evening of this Monday. Uh, I just was wondering about something. Uh, I had a discussion with a friend. The question was, yeah, granted, the modern medicine make us live our 80s, 90s, and living longer, really. Uh, the immunizations, the medications, they're making us live longer. But the question is modern medicine making us live well enough? Longer, for sure, but is it making us live well enough? That is the question. Okay. I'm kind of convinced it doesn't. So we see so much of problems with so many people with mental health or with uh, general feeling of energy, joy, and you take so many parameters, it falls short. We're living somehow, but it's not really making us feel like we are enjoying our life or we are more energetic and more free of the disease most of the time. But we are really uh, having that kind of problem, right? So that's what I wanted to talk about today. So I opened up the channels, and I hope I'll get some audience to listen to it, and not only listen, but come up and make observations of their own and ask questions and engage me with some of the comments and questions. Okay. Even then, I'm going to um, express myself what I was thinking and why this thing was going on, and on how we can alter our lifestyles a little bit and live better. Okay, by understanding modern medicine and also so many other health systems that were there for millennia, right? People had these older systems that really helped them to live better and healthy, right? So that's what I want to present today. Uh, as you see, most people are living longer than before. When I was growing up in India, 50 years later, people were dying, right? They had strokes, they had heart attacks, they had diabetes problems. There's so many things. But as a kid, I was just, watching that the people are dying, but then we didn't have this parameters of uh, how long you are living, or what is the mortality rate, what is the maternal mortality, fetal, all those things came into my vocabulary after I became a doctor, right? And then we came to know, okay, people are in America living 70 years, 75 years, but here we're living only 50 years. And then later on, it grew to 80s, and now it's into 90s is not a problem at all for people. But there are so many people die of they don't die really, but they exist in nursing homes in a very pathetic condition. My heart goes out when I go to visit them in nursing home because they have no purpose, no social life, no energy, and they pretty much lose interest in everything very soon. And they're like a vegetable, sustained on medications a lot of times. So that's very sad of her. I always said if I have to go, I have to go suddenly. I don't want to take it out like that. But we don't know what can happen with us, right? But that tragedy of people lasting without having any thing out of the life, and they have no purpose, they have no joy, they have no happiness, right? That was what I was observing. And there is a solution for that. Instead of really relying on everything on modern medicine, you can also understand where modern medicine is kind of lagging behind in terms of preventing things, in terms of maintaining our good health, in terms of helping us to live well, in the sense we are joyful and we are involved in life, we are active in life, and we are really getting something out of life and feeling elated just for being here, right? That kind of thing I call wellness. Not only just free of disease, but also understood disease origins and finding them out and curing them, and really trying to prevent them, because we know lifestyles really can change that. See, that's why after practicing more than 40 years of internal medicine, I had to really look at what are the good preventive ways, what are the good health maintenance ways that are there in the world, not just in this era, but in the ancient eras of ours. That led me to systems of yoga, Ayurveda, and non-dual philosophy, things like that, right? We don't have to learn a depth for them, but we can learn the hacks of those systems. If you learn the systems deep, you will love them. That's no doubt about it, you know. But if you don't have to learn, you pick up the hacks from those systems and put it in place in your regular life. That's what I was talking about. Okay, so in that process, you can say, well, it's not just living, but also living free of suffering, or understanding suffering and transgressing the suffering. That is possible with these older systems I'm talking about. Modern system gives you means to abate your illness and get back to life. But then how you live life depends upon your inner philosophy, your cognition, your heart, and your action, right? So, yoga, I'm partial to that because it addresses all these faculties of human being. It makes us work with uh, trying to purify ourselves through unselfish activity, and it makes our heart purify by having this devotion to something bigger than us. You can call it God, you can call it consciousness, you can call it self, you can call it Atman, whatever. But then there is a bigger self, a bigger energy that is beyond us, that includes us, that kind of thing, right? And then you have this yoga where you live in life with focus. That means you are not wayward of all over. You have some focus. You can focus your mind nicely, and also you can turn the mind an asset to you, an ally to you, rather than it become the enemy. It become the troublemaker for you. That is possible. So action, focus, and devotion. These three, and then you can also use your cognition to find out what is what. That is where the non-dual philosophy I was talking about, that we are all one energy, and there is no second one, and there is only all human tribe, all living beings are being one energy. That kind of understanding of what we are really by turning inward really tells you who you are, what is the energy, and how you can use all of that. That is a radical difference from the present mind going all over and no focus, and then don't have any care for anything else, and do whatever you want and just enjoy some few pleasures and the desires. All that has made people ultimately suffer. That suffering can be transcended if you can understand life in the Eastern perspective. So that's what I did, and that has introduced a lot of ways of wellness that we can employ in our lifestyles and live well, not only long, but live well. Live well in the sense having a good body and good heart and focused life, and also really understanding who we are. Okay, those kind of things go a long way for a lot of people, so that they have got best out of their life. That kind of thing. Okay, so that's what I wanted to pose a question and see. how our friends react to that. Okay. The other thing is, as you see even the normal statistics and see how our quality of life, in terms of our uh, mortality rate, uh, mo- ma- maternal and infant mortality rate, and also the morbidity. That means the suffering that goes on underneath with so many people's lives. Okay, they may put up with it, they may go through it without really having any solution to that, but they do suffer a lot. This is where the suffering and Buddha's solution of two arrow theory comes up. Um, World will throw the suffering at us. That is the first arrow. But it is our reaction to it that it makes us suffer or not suffer. So that is where the second arrow is our reactive nature. That is getting worse and worse now, especially if people are not able to stop and really revive themselves and face the life with not reacting but responding. So a challenge is there. What good it is for me if I just worry about it, but it's good for me if I think about it and find a solution and inch towards it, march towards it. Then I will be able to resolve that problem, and I'll be able to lead a life of satisfaction and happiness. Otherwise, I will waste my energy on the uh, suffering itself. So that's what ancients taught. Okay, like a first arrow is inevitable. World will throw that against us. We have disease, we have death, we have old age, and all these things come to everybody. But the people who have really turned inward, realized, and understood life, they are able to tolerate these kind of things that come up in everybody's life much better with equanimity, without really reacting with the mind. You know, think about that. You don't have to be a religious convert to any particular religion, but you can understand the wisdom that were thrown by minds that were very much meditative. And then they always said, you got to calm your mind, then the mind will be your ally, your friend. Otherwise, you can make your mind your enemy, and it can give you a lot of unnecessary anguish, right? So that is one thing you want to remember. So in yoga also there are four branches. What you are doing, what you are acting out in life, that is the karma yoga. That is there to clean your mind, in the sense if you are riddled with a lot of desires, and then you are really spending in that, so feeling like I'm not able to fulfill my desires, I'm miserable, I failed, and all that, right? That kind of thing is not going to help your mind to be pure. But if you can take on, like, what can I do for society? What can I do for the family? What can I do for the country and all that? That kind of unselfish activity really purifies your mind. And once that is done, this Raja Yoga, which is the yoga of focus, which helps you to really stop all your unnecessary thinking and also work yourself towards one thought and go beyond one thought and establish yourself in the silence. That is very, very effective to really keep your mind in your corner and keep the mind focused and use better. Okay, so that is the Raja Yoga or Dhyana Yoga, they call it. And third thing is, how can you develop your heart with love towards the creator, love towards your colleagues or whatever, right? All that loving energy is not only useful for you but other people too. And then finally you want to use your cognition to find out inwardly who you are, what you are made of, what is your identity. Are you just this piece of meat and bones and few thoughts, or you are beyond this body and mind, towards that energy which is residing in you. So those kind of things. So for that you need a purified mind and also a focused mind. Both those two things are done by karma yoga and also raja yoga, and then you fill your love with you fill your heart with love, and that really helps you to appreciate the life around you, to really work for the life around you. And then you will be quietly sitting down and reflecting and finding out who you are with your own intuitive awareness. So this is very, very important. And these people, they may have disease, they may have old age, they may have death. All these things are going to happen inevitably, but they may live more chance of not having any disease. They have more chance of feeling really joyful and happy as they go through the life, and they will be not afraid of the death. So working like that is very good for us, for mortal human beings, because we're going to die anyway. But why do you have to not able to understand that and then go through life as though you are afraid of that? You see, it's going to happen again anyway. So it's better to live well this moment, this day and all that. Doesn't mean indulging in senses and then wasting your energy, but it does mean as a human being, you do whatever you want to do, irrespective of you hurting animals, plants, and other people. You don't want to do that. You will not be happy that way. So this is a very highly evolved human being who will be doing unselfish work, doing focused work, and with a loving and caring heart, and really understanding who the human being is, where he come from, where is he going to go. You cannot have answers to those, but at least you are living well, and you feel ecstatic as you are living in this life. Okay, so think about that. What does the modern medicine do? Is it just doing mechanical treatments and ignoring the larger part of human being, and then just giving them some medications and then keeping you artificially at just live, but no life in it, right? People are nursing homes are vegetables. That's what I was talking about. You don't have to do that. You can always try to do physical yoga to keep your body as healthy as possible, and you can use Raja Yoga, the Dhyana Yoga, to keep your mind focused and not to allow the mind to go into all sorts of corners and create hell for you. They say that, right? It can do heaven out of hell or hell out of heaven. So keep your mind your friend, right? And then also have the loving kindness or compassion towards everybody, because they're part of you. We are all one energy, right? That's easy then. And then you really turn inside and feel that energy that you are, and everybody has that. You know, with that, what happens is you are going to really appreciate the life that is given to us, and not just to live, but to live happily and in blissfulness. Okay, that's what I wanted to say for today, and I felt like this is a very thing to share with friends. As you know, I'm into wellness. I teach wellness. I run a club on wellness, and a lot of people call me about these questions. And of course, burnout is a big issue I was addressing, and I do help doctors and nurses and IT professionals to understand where the burnout is happening, what they should do, mainly the lifestyle changes. And this is also very important for all the burnout people to listen to, you know. And that kind of reflection will allow you to lead a better life by understanding fundamental things. Eat well, good food, correctly, sit down and eat, chew it, and savor the food, and then eat only when you are hungry. And then you see the medications are not there, as much as possible. Cut them down or give them up by consulting with your doctor. I did this quite number of times. I cut down medication so many patients, but it has to be done with care and monitoring and education and awareness too. So it is a long process. You have not gained the medications all of a sudden, especially those people who are used to medications for a long time. They might have changed their body chemistry being responsive to medication. So at the time, you will say what is essential, what is important. And simultaneously, you have to do some lifestyle changes that will help you not to get your disease worse. But at the same time, you are smart enough to cut down and thereby save money, also damage to your body, damage to your mind too. So this mechanical, non-thinking way of taking medications is not needed. It's not wise either. It's not smart either. Okay, and then you sit down and reflect on calming your mind twice a day, and also do exercise, whatever exercise you, that is aerobic, that increases your flexibility, strength, and uh, it helps you feel good and maybe to do the stuff that you want to do, and don't sit down and lie down quite a bit, and also, take deep breathing. That's a very good thing too. After you all that, then show your love and compassion and random kindness to people around you. So all these small things, if you can be aware of it and do it, and especially if they come from your heart, from your understanding, from your inner being, I think it will last longer. It's not only a blessing for other people, you will become a blessing to yourself. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say. I think there are people on the wisdom app. I want anybody wants to come up, and I'll take them if they want to come up. And then yeah, King is there. He could come up. Um, yeah. So there are people there. So if there anybody wants to come up and talk about this, I'll be happy to receive you. You know, otherwise I'll be closing down in a few moments. Okay. All right. I think everybody is more not to come up, so that's fine. I'm done with whatever I have to say on this topic. So I will be taking leave now, and I'll see you back again soon. Bye.